Hello, guys. Welcome to Querying Science, Querying Theology, Philosophy and Spirituality, QSTPS. This is the LGBTQ Center of Science and Theology and Philosophy and Spirituality. And we always discuss as LGBTQ persons because we believe and know and say that God has children with diverse sexualities. We are gay sons of God, we are lesbian daughters of God, we are bisexual sons and daughters of God, we are transgender sons and daughters of God, we are intersex sons and daughters of God, we are queer sons and daughters of God, we are queer sons and daughters of God, we are questioning sons and daughters of God, and we are pansexual, we are questioning sons and daughters of God, and we are pansexual sons and daughters of God, and we are sexual sons and daughters of God, and we are allies, sons and daughters of God, and allies are the heterosexuals. So, all of those are the children of God. And I was talking to somebody before we go to the main story, and I was telling them, when you have two children against 20 children, um, who has more diversity in the stock? And the answer I got was the one who has 20 children. And it's very true. And I'll explain it to you why the one with 20 children has diverse children compared to the one who has two children. Because whereas the one that has two children can have the children following each other within 3 years, let's say, the first one was born 3 years ago and then the second one 3 years later. The time difference of what do you call it, diversification is very small. The diversification capacity is very small because the sperm quality is still more or less the same. The father, the mother, they're still the same. But when you have children 20 children, those, and then if all of those children are born in a gap of 1 year, let's say 1 year, or let's say 40 years, I mean 2 years, after every 2 years, this family had a child, and this guy had 20 children. Do you know how many years those are? 40 years. So the diversity is going to be very wide because the first child, the sperm quality was very high. But the last child, the sperm quality would be weak because the person is growing old. So when the older he's growing, his sperms also change. Yes, they also change. And then you'll have, like, now let's say when you have two children, you may just only have one girl and one boy, or two boys or two girls. But when you have 20 children, you can have a diversity of girls and boys. Now, when you have that diversity, some of the children will be homosexual, some of them will be heterosexual, some of them will be bisexual, some of them will be queer, some of them will be intersex, because there are many, and the period of time in which these births are happening are varied. They are not the same. Like now, let's take this family of 20 children, and they have after every 2 years they have a child. And this man and woman, both of them are 20 years old, like what you have in England. The Queen Elizabeth married when she was 19. Can you imagine? And then the husband is also, let's say, 2020. So the first child is born when you're 20 years old. Now, then when the man is and the woman are 30, the quality, the mother is becoming more and more older. So even her egg can have some diversification. And so does the sperm have diversification. So children from the time of the age 30 are not the same as the children who are born from 20 to 30. Then reach 40 years old, the father and the mother, the sperms and the eggs are also now changing. They're not the same. They are slightly changing. Slightly, but there's some change. So the children who are born when the parents were 30 and to 40 are not the same as the children born from 20 to 30 and are not the same as the children born to 40 to 50. And then when you reach 50 to 60, the children who are born when the parents were 50 to 60 are not the same as the children who are born when the parents were 40 to 50, and the children who were born 30 to 40, and the children who were born 20 to 30 when the parents were 20 to 30 years old. So you can imagine all of that diversity. Just look at that. So you'll find some children are tall, some are big, some are light skinned, some are black, some are clever, some are a bit dull, some are a bit slow, some are very fast, some are hyper, some are quick tempered. So imagine such a house. And then when you have 20 children, one of them he'll be an adult before the other one is even an infant. So you can imagine, it's a weird family. And so you'll see a lot of diversity there. So what am I trying to say in a very long way? I'm just trying to say God has everybody is a child of God. 7 billion people. All of them are the children of God. Yes, that is my theology. I stand with that. Because God, through Jesus Christ, got the whole world. All. Because that's what Paul says. God is in all and for all. So that means everybody who is alive in earth today is a child of God. Everybody. Yes, everybody. And that's what I'm going to say. And there'll be another video to prove what I'm saying when I talk about the Garden of Eden. We always talk about that story over and over again. You know, there's always a revelation coming out about that place. So we're going to talk about it. But now we want to finish. This is part 2 of the sex of God. And we have already, in the summary of what we discussed, we said God can either be gender fluid or gender neutral, rather, or intersex or hermaphrodite, or male, or female, or bisexual, and therefore LGBTQ deities. And the bisexual group means that's the end of monotheism. It's the beginning of polytheism. Not that polytheism can't take place where God is a woman, where God is a man. It can happen. Like the angels of God are primarily seen as male. So that is monolithic, that there are no female angels. But for some religions, they believe there are female angels. Yeah, very beautiful. Oh my. Religion is, you know what makes religion, why we talk about it, it's mythological and storytelling. But you must understand, spend more time. This is a disclaimer. Don't spend a lot of time studying so much on religion. That's my view. If you want to be a material person, if you want to be a person who is out of this world, spend time reading religion. You will not be here. But if you want to be in the world, please study materiality, and that's science. Science deals with matter. That's where we get the word material. Matter. Things that can be seen, touched, felt, heard. That is what science deals with. Religion deals with things that are unseen. And it can be anything. Anything can be unseen. Anything. I can even say there's a fairy seated on my head now. How will you prove it? You can't. And someone will say, yes, it's true, I can see it. The fairy is there. So that's what religion is. So if it's about, but the reason why we do it, we have to tell you the reason why we're doing it. Why is QSTPS here? It is here because we are introducing science to the religious world. We are reform religion. We are calling for reforms in the religious sector when it comes to science, especially sexual science. We are telling people that homosexuals can serve God. We are telling people lesbians can serve God. We are telling people bisexuals can serve God. We are telling people intersex persons can serve God. We are telling people asexuals can serve God. We are telling people queer people can serve God. We are telling people that questioning people can serve God. We are telling people that asexuals can serve God. We are telling people that pansexuals can serve God. And of course, heterosexuals can serve God. All those are the children of God. Every one of them. They are born. People are born homosexual. They are born intersex. They are born bisexual. They are born transgender. Yes, and we're telling people transgender people can serve God. We have to say that because there's a transphobia is in the area. So now we discussed, the other time we discussed the first video, which we've already done. We discussed what Archbishop Welby said about being God being gender neutral. And many people, there are very many articles, people are responding to it, and some of them are agreeing with him, others are not, as I've already told you where I stand on the issue. But I'm going to give the reason why I stand on my intersex or LGBTQ deity. Because when the LGBTQ deity means that God can be male and female, and therefore, bisexual. And the reason I'm saying that is because in Hinduism, anybody can be a god. Anybody, even a gay person, can be deified and be a god. You know, anybody. And another thing, and why I also belong to the intersex, that God is intersex, and I belong in the fact that God is LGBTQ, because what you call Elohim, many gods, pluralistic gods, they are for LGBTQ. And then I can belong in the one that God is a man. And sometimes I can say God is a woman because there's the natural side of life. Mothers are more kinder than the fathers. They have a nicer, you can approach them. Fathers are not like that. And it's a natural tendency. Testosterone is not a very welcoming hormone. Estrogen is very welcoming. And that's what you need to understand about hormonal balance. And remember, some women have testosterone. They're very tough and more testosterone than men. And there's some men who have less testosterone and therefore they have more estrogen. So you'll find some men are very kind. They are very nice. You'd think they're women. They don't even have a problem. You just look at them and say, oh, this guy is so nice. He's too nice. He's too. I remember one time somebody talked about me and he said, I'm too gentle. Too gentle. Yeah, there was a time I was like that. I was very gentle, very calm. Now these days I'm loud. Some people complain that I have a very loud voice, and I told them it's because I was preaching. I used to preach a lot in campus. Every day in a year. For 3 years I preached with my loud voice, and I had no microphone. I loved doing the shouting because that time I was so fused with what I learned about God that time. I was waiting for the world to end. So I was so much in the end time movement, and I was passionate. You know, that time of the end time movement, things were happening. That time Bush had just left the presidency, Obama now was in the White House. Now the only time I now toned down was when the homosexuality issue came up, and I had to tell people that, you know what, homosexuals also belong to God. And that's where now people started saying, this one, there's something fishy about this guy. Because, you know, when you say that, now people wonder, why are you supporting gays? And you're so-called pastor, you're preaching. So that's when now I toned down a bit, and then I went to atheism. Anyway, that's my my story. You can go and find it on the Rex Arthur uh, show, Rex Arthur channel on YouTube too. Now, when Welby said that God is gender neutral, he didn't really use a verse because he said something very important, which I also like. He said that human language is inadequate to define God. It is weak in defining who God is. And um, because of that, really, it's not wise for people to use language like the Bible or the Quran to define who God is, because basically nobody knows Him. Sincerely, nobody knows Him. Do you know God? How does He look? How does He look? What does He look like? You know, some people, I mean, sincerely speaking, have you seen God? And Jesus already warned us that nobody can see God and live. He will die. Oh, there's so many contradictions in religion. I wish you knew. I wish you knew. I'm not gonna bring them up. There are just too many. When I'm just talking and I'm just hearing the contradictions in my head, I just say, oh, let's just get over with and done with it. So anyway, but I was actually saying the reason why we are in religion and we're LGBTQ, people will say like, no, why are you wasting time there? You should just be in the LGBTQ movement. No, it's because to deconstruct homophobia has been built by one thing called religion. That's one. Another thing that has created homophobia is homophobic cultures. These are cultures that are ignorant of sexual science. Any culture can be ignorant of sexual science, especially intersexual. Then, what you have as then the other stone that builds homophobia is natural science. The belief that science, because there's natural science and a man has a reproductive organ and a woman has a reproductive organ, therefore all men and women must be heterosexual. There are people who are like that. They are in the animals have they have heterosexual relations with animals. Even in the animal kingdom, there are animals that reproduce asexually. They don't need to have sex. They reproduce. So people cannot say that all humans are heterosexual. That's a lie. That's not true. In any case, you'd rather say all humans because they have reproductive organs which can be used to reproduce. I used to say that, but now I even say we are all intersex, because bisexuality is just doesn't concern itself with the internal sexual system. Intersexuality concerns itself with the internal sexual system. So I prefer intersexuality because it combines both the external and the internal. But bisexuality only really focuses on how you have sex and with whom you have sex. That you have sex with the both sexes, then you're a bisexual. They don't even go to what is inside your body. But for intersexuality, we are all intersex because we both have male and female hormones. So hormonally, we are intersexual. Then there are some people who are intersex with internal sexual organs, but externally they have one sexual organ. Then the highest intersex person in the world is the one who has both as external organs that are both male and female. That is the purest intersex person. Because not only does he have hormones, not only does he have internal sex organs, both internal sex organs from male and female, he also has external organs from male and female. They are a man and a woman. Beautiful. Beautiful. So it's wrong to say that everybody is heterosexual. Rather, you would say majority of the people are straight, but there is a minority. And this is why we are now here trying to support and tell people, please allow the minority with the minority, the LGBT, to exist in your spaces. We want to exist in the workplace. We want to exist in the religious spaces. We want to exist in the sports spaces. We want to exist in the political spaces. We want to be in the spaces whereby nobody will discriminate you when they hear that you are sleeping. Nobody will attack you. That is my vision. The LGBTQ utopia, whereby you can stand up and say, I am a gay politician, I am a bisexual politician, and I'm running for this office. And people clap for you. Because to them, it means nothing. It means just one of us. Yeah, you're just another strand. You're another color in the rainbow. That's why we use the rainbow, because it shows diversity. So I'm waiting for the day. Let me be in Martin Luther King now. I have a dream when I'll see a lesbian politician stand up and say, I want to change my country and make it better. And here is my wife as a lesbian. Here is my wife. And people clap for us. And they say, yes, we are giving you the vote because you are capable of bringing change. I have a dream that one day I will see a gay bishop stand up and tell people the word of God and feed the poor and the hungry and take care of the naked and tell them that it's going to be okay and provide all they need to survive in life. I believe the day is going to come when we have a bisexual CEO that is happy of his bisexuality and has a successful company. And guess what? My vision has already been, it's working. It is coming to pass. Hallelujah. Glory to God. It is happening. Thank you, Jesus. It is already happening because in America, the CEO of Apple is gay. Arizona, the senator is a bisexual woman. Open, she's proud of it. Nobody is going to shoot her. That is where we're going. That's the world we want to build. And I can't wait for the day in Saudi Arabia when the chief mufti stands up and says, I'm a gay mufti. Allahu Akbar. And people shout, yes, Allah Akbar. God is great. Yes, he is a gay mufti. And he goes on with his life. Nobody disturbs him. That's my vision. It's gonna come, and I want to see it. I don't know. I may not be there when it happens in Saudi Arabia. It's gonna take a very long time. But I'm waiting for that day when a mufti, an imam, can stand up and is not ashamed of having sex with the same sex. Wait for the day when a lesbian can even become an imam. Yes. Who said Islam can't be changed? Who said Christianity cannot be changed? You know the reason why? I'm so sorry, I've diverted. I was supposed to be on the sex of God. We're still there. But we have to talk about this. This is what you call a Rhema word. If you've been in the charismatic movement and the Pentecostal, it's a word that just comes. You know, people should understand that change is never liked. Do you know why Martin Luther King was killed? He was bringing change. What was Obama's mantra when he came to power? Change you can believe in. Change. He wanted to change the system. What was wrong with the American system? It was too racist. They had only civil rights movement groups. They had all of these organizations, NAACP, no racial balance. No racial balance at all. You could count the number of blacks in powerful offices. It was that serious. And it's still that serious. Because if you don't diversify power, you will have revolutions. You will have distractions. Yes. You will have chaos. You need to diversify power structures. That's why now in political science you have what is called inclusivity, inclusion, and not in only political science, even in religion. We are having inclusion, whereby you include everybody in. So sorry, I'm getting too preachy. Everybody in the country is part of decision making. You know what power is? Power is the ability to make a decision, and it is passed. Do you know why judges are powerful? When they say you are going to prison for 10 years, you will go. You don't have power. But a person who tells you you're going to jail for 10 years, you go to jail for 10 years because that person has power. Same to the president. Same to the legislator. The legislator, they make laws. What is a law? It's a decision. This is how we're going to do things. So judges make decisions, lawmakers make decisions, presidents make decisions. That's power. That's why it's called the three separation of power. Because power is all about decision. Like when God, remember when you sing the song, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Why? It means Jesus has authority. He's powerful. He can say this and it happens. Even to make miracles happen, you needed authority. That's why Jesus said, I have given you authority to trample over snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. What did he give us, disciples? He gave us authority so that you can do what? Overcome the power of the enemy. You cannot overcome the power of your enemy if you have no authority. The sons of Sceva, when they tried to cast out demons, when they saw Paul do it, the demons laughed and beat them up. Why? Because they realized they didn't have authority. They said, we know Paul, we know Jesus, we know Peter, but we do not know you guys. And they laughed and they attacked and they beat them naked. They ran naked in the city. Why? They did not exercise authority. Anytime when you're beaten by somebody, it's that person has more authority than you. That is it. Even war is all about authorities fighting each other. Like imagine, do you know why African countries don't fight America? It's madness. They are more authoritative. They have the machinery. They have all the weaponry. It's a mad president who will say, I want to fight America from Africa. A mad one. I want to fight them. Look at what Kim did in North Korea. He's not mad. He has some mental problem, but it's not madness. Because when Trump started talking to Kim and then warned him that I'm going to strike you, and you're going to know what America is, with immediate effect, Kim just changed his tone. His tweets that were filled with a lot of grandiosity, taunting America, they changed. He said, I now can talk to South Korea. Why? He just did the math. And so these guys, they mean business. Because if he struck South Korea, America is going to strike North Korea completely and destroy it. So even if North Korea has destroyed South Korea, they have destroyed North Korea, so it's done. What's the use of destroying South Korea when you have also been killed by America, which is not near you? You see, so Kim had to sit down and think, and just thought twice. He's wise. He just said, no, we're not going to fight America. And that's what happens. That's because he realized America had more authority than North Korea. So that's the power of authority. So anyway, I can talk about it. So I was just trying to say this is a Rema word, and the Rema word is that the reason. So we are trying to deconstruct homophobia in religion. We are reforming religion. And sometimes when you bring change, you're not loved. Please understand that, especially if you're an LGBTQ activist, don't be prepared to be loved by people. We must understand that. They will not love you. You're bringing something that is strange, in the sense that you're bringing it out of the open. It's LGBT persons are in the world, have been in the world forever. Some of you have had LGBT parents and you didn't know, LGBT grandparents and you didn't know. Yes, they were very closeted, very closeted. It's just that today people are now coming out. It's what you call enlightenment. It's happening. We are now exposing and revealing who we really are. So people are and that exposure and revelation, is angering people, because some people are not happy. They don't want people to know you are gay. They want you to stay. But my vision is, come out gay, work in the office, let everybody know you're a gay worker, and they leave you to do your work. Let everybody know you're a transgender, and they leave you to do your work. Go and preach in church, and everybody knows you are queer. Stand. Like I said in my other videos, if you're an LGBTQ person and you have faith, go to that mosque in power. Go to that church in power. Pray, do the sujud in power, knowing you're a proud and a happy gay Muslim. You're a happy transgender Christian. You're there, you're praising, sing. Let no one tell you that you're a transgender, so don't sing. You're a bad person. God doesn't love you. He loves you. He's in you. That's a God. So that's why we are doing this. When I was atheist, I was spending most of my time on LGBTQ activism in a secular point of view, and therefore in the political structures and the legal structures and the social structure, religion, because atheist. Then I realized that no, I think from my experience, when I was a Christian, I had a very powerful experience of the Holy Spirit. And that is what made me say, you know what? I think I should just go back to theism, and I just believe in God, because the experience I had, no, I can't explain it to anybody. It was powerful. But I said to myself, no, my sexuality. Because even when I was a Christian, I had my homosexual tendencies. They were there, very clear. But how I used to deal with them, I used to cry. and say, I don't want this. But now I've realized, no, it's beautiful because when you enjoy love, same-sex love, it's you will never regret it. You will love it. You'll even want to look for somebody to stay with of the same sex, and you stay together and you love each other fully. This is the war we now have in Africa, that we are trying to help people understand homosexuality, the LGBTQ community, so that they can. And I always tell Africans, we are not many. Come on, you make it look like we are coming to conquer the whole world. No, we have always been few and will always be few. Excuse me. We've always been. And because of that, just accommodate these people. They are different. We are thoroughly different. It's understandable. We are not many, but we are so different. Many people don't understand us very well. So that's why we are now. I came and now I've merged religion with science, reform religion. I now attend a I attend an affirming church. This is an affirming station. This is an affirming channel. And QSTPS is an affirming theological center where we support all the LGBT community. So what are we doing in this? And we have so many videos to do in this channel. And I'm going to do it another one to talk to now to the affirming churches. We are in a very important time in history. Very, very important time. And I'll talk about it in another video. Okay, guys, let's go on and then we can conclude. So back to logos. That was Rema. Rema was just word that comes from the air. Now we are back to logos, what we wanted to do. Logos word was that, excuse me, I'll be back a bit. Let me clear my nose. All right, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. There was no. We've already said this before many times, but today I wanted to say it because since Welby talked about it, I wanted to give my position. Of course, it was off the cuff. He didn't even use scripture. He just spoke his heart, and of course, he used the articles of the Anglican Church to say that Church of England. But I stand with my reading of the Bible, and everybody's allowed to have their view. Religion is like that. It's not a science as such. It's a pseudo or a quasi science. Yes, it's not really based on facts. It's just opinion. So my opinion is that in when you read Genesis chapter 1, it says, "In the beginning, God created the earth, the heaven and the earth." Now that word God is Elohim. In Hebrew, Elohim means many gods. Now, we do not know whether this is meaning that there were three gods and therefore the Trinity, or it just means very many gods, aliens. They were just aliens and they were there. We don't know. And very many gods, like the Greek gods and the Hindu gods, are very many. So it's Elohim. But the problem is, and please don't forget what Welby said. In fact, for me, the most important thing Welby said is not what sex God is, but rather that human language is inadequate to explain God. That is the most beautiful. I don't know. I disagree with Welby on some things, but this one he really won because he has said what he has said is that even when you read the scriptures, they are not necessarily adequate to explain. They try to explain God, but they can't. That's why we can't really explain certain things. It's because human language is lacking. It's beautiful. It's a genius statement. Because there's some things in science we do not understand them because of language. There is no language to explain certain processes in nature that they exist. And as I said, I was going to do another video. Of course, I did it, but I'll do it properly. That we live in